Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be speaking about how I got placed in Schindler and what are the things you can learn from what I experienced in getting this magnificent job. I finished 15 years this year in Schindler, and what was the reason I got to be selected and how did I perform in my interview is what I'm going to be speaking about. So let's get started. I joined Schindler in 2006, July. But in my previous internship video, I had spoken about how I got an internship, which I did very well in a company called Moran Furniture. So Moran is technically my first job, which I didn't have to do an interview, but I got the job because of the internship I did. It was a very challenging time, to be honest, because if I hadn't got that job, I had to leave Australia and come back to India with a huge loan to pay off as well. So this loan of 30 lakhs was on my head. My house was mortgaged. I was worried about the house getting sold off if I hadn't been able to find a job and to pay off the loan. So there was a lot of pressure and time was running out. I literally had like a month to get a job in order to get a work permit. The rules in Australia was if you have an application for permanent residency, you can start working. But to apply for permanent residency, I need 6 months of work experience. So it was a chicken and egg game, which had to come first, the job or the residency. Now, I literally had like a month, as I said, and just during that month, finally, the company gave me the opportunity with a 6 month, basically it was a full-time job, but later on, of course, I quit them in about 7 months' time. But I have to thank Sam, who was a Greek Australian, who was the operations head for the company Moran. He was the one who gave me the opportunity, and I'm always thankful to him for this amazing opportunity. It was a furniture manufacturing company where I was an operations engineer in the factory floor, and I was working on process improvements and Kaizen improvement projects. Now, that company was an Australian company. They were one of the premium furniture manufacturers, but it was still a very small size company. And after about 4 or 5 months, I already started feeling that they may not have a lot of growth opportunities for me. And there was a time when my boss even told me that, Ash, you are much bigger than I think what we can offer. Maybe you should try and look for something much bigger. At the same time, a lot of my friends had also joined MNCs in Australia. So I started actively looking for a job. A very popular site was seek.com, which like a naukri.com in Australia. I was using that to apply for my first job, proper job, technically with an interview. So I found this advertisement for a management trainee / quality engineer in Schindler. I applied for that job. I thought it was very close to the studies I had done in terms of industrial engineering, quality, process improvement, Kaizen. The first round of interview was a phone interview. It was with the HR and the hiring manager. Both of them were females, and I'm specifically mentioning it because they just made the whole process so amazingly comfortable. They asked me a lot of questions over the phone. I was a foreigner in a new country, petrified. I wanted the job. I really wanted to get a good job which can settle my career. So I put my best foot forward. Thankfully, the phone interview went relatively smooth. After about a couple of weeks' time, I got that much awaited call that they wanted me to do a final interview in Sydney. I used to live in Melbourne at that time when I was a student, and I was living with 4 people in a 2-bedroom house. It wasn't easy to make ends meet, but this call was a blessing in disguise. Finally, they sent me the flight tickets to fly to Sydney. For someone who was a student just doing a startup job in the beginning, to get a call and to be sent a ticket to fly to Sydney was like a dream come true. I felt like I've won the gold medal in my life. I still remember vividly early morning leaving home to catch a flight, early flight. I had to take a bus. I didn't have a car or anything like that. I took a public bus, went to the airport.
Faction first class. Good evening.
Reached Sydney airport, took a taxi because I didn't even know how to travel around there. I asked some people, how do I do this? Thankfully, the office wasn't too far from the airport. I reached the office about 9 o'clock, 9:30, and the interview started around 10 o'clock. They told me it's going to be a 1 hour interview. And they told me that the interview was with the managing director and my hiring manager. Now, I was surprised, why is a managing director hiring me and interviewing me? But then later on, I realized that this role was very, very important for them. So we started the interview, and the managing director, within the first few minutes, put me at ease. He spoke about my family, my background, how am I managing in Australia. And after 10 minutes, I don't think I remember it being like an interview. I just started talking from my heart. One of the simplest lessons I can share with all of you is, in any interview, please speak from your heart. Don't always try to manipulate what answer you have to give. It's not about getting that particular job. It's about finding the fit between what they're looking for and what you have in terms of skills and experience. They asked me about my ambition in life. How did I manage challenging situations? What was my strengths and what was my weakness? I answered all of them with the real facts. I spoke about my weakness. And when I spoke about my weakness, I mentioned how I'm working on my weakness and how I'm trying to improve my weakness. This is something I request all of you to mention, that you can speak about your weakness with all honesty, but do share how are you trying to improve on the weakness, so they know that you are self-aware. I think they found the answers to be extremely genuine. It came straight from my heart. I spoke about how I was learning from all the part-time jobs that I did. All the restaurant work, cleaning dishes, washing cars, how it helped me groom my soft skills, communication skills, networking skills, and how did I go about making money, and what did I do with that money as well. And then they asked me to ask them questions, and I asked them about what career opportunities they would have for me. How do they treat people in the company? What's the employee culture? A lot of people still tell me they're scared to ask questions back, but there's nothing to be scared about. It shows your confidence as well. The 1 hour interview went on till about 12 o'clock, which is 2 hours, 12:30, 2.5 hours. And then by 12:45, the interview formally finished. And then the managing director asked me, do you want to join us for lunch? I found that extremely touching. Then he walked us across to a restaurant, and we had another 2 hours of lunch and conversations. I knew by then I had done a great job, because they wouldn't be calling me for lunch if that's not the case. After that, the managing director did the most amazing thing I still remember. He turned to the hiring manager and told her, please drop him in the airport. He's a student. He may not have a lot of money. And give him a taxi fee to take the taxi from Melbourne airport to his home in Melbourne. I was touched. And till date, these are the impressions that still sit in my mind. And when I interview candidates, I try and follow many of these things till today. It's been 15 years since this incident happened. And then finally, I was waiting for that final call. 1 week went, no call. 2 weeks went, no call. 3 weeks went, no call.
इंतहा हो गई इंतजार की आई ना कुछ खबर मेरे यार की.
Then I followed up with them, asking, hey, what happened to the interview? Is there any update for me? And the hiring manager said, oh, I'm so sorry. We totally forgot, because we have been extremely busy with so many things at work. We will be sending you the offer and you've got the job. It was the D-Day of my life.
इतनी खुशी मुझे आज तक नहीं.
अबे रुक रुक ये ले.
And my dear friends, following up is not a bad thing. I don't think you should make the mistake of waiting 3 weeks like me, but the moment you go back, send a thank you email. Tell them why you feel you are the right candidate for this job. If they don't reply, follow up a week later. Remember, companies have a lot of things going on. They're not just sitting on your job interview. They have a lot of things in the organization. So empathize with them and understand them. And finally, I got that call, I got the job, and I moved to Sydney, and rest is history. I'm so thankful for this organization for giving me this amazing opportunity that in 15 years, I went from being a graduate trainee to being the CEO of one of the biggest Schindler organizations for us worldwide. I hope you learned a couple of things from this video. Do comment what was your favorite part, and I would be happy to reply to you and share more details. Till I see you next time, stay fit, stay positive, keep chasing obscene success. Thank you.